running and dragging filters up and down the halls and fighting the kids.
It helps with your instruction.
Sure.
Well, they just, everything they deal with on the unit, other than coming in and checking the thermostat, they just stay outside to do. Do we have any complaints from temperature-wise from these?
I think humidity control devices that's been placed.
That was a big selling
You know,
point to me, more so than I think a lot of people know, was dehumidification. Because I swear, if I could get it at my other schools, I think life would just go on.
We can dehumidify without having to start the barred units, and then during off periods you don't have, after 3:30 p.m. when the unit shut down, you're not doing dehumidification, so that's the energy savings. But during occupied modes, you do dehumidification. But if you don't need heating or cooling in order to get dehumidification, you get it all by itself. So you've got a smaller compressor running, wringing water out of the air without cranking up a larger compressor and then cooling the room off too much, trying to dry the air out.
I got you.
So that is really nice.
And it makes a comfortable space. I mean, so the teacher comes in, hey, I'm comfortable. She doesn't need to run heat and air.
And we actually can run higher temperatures in the summertime with a lower humidity, and that's the extra energy savings there.
Is we will run into school systems that energy management, quote unquote, control overrides, and they turn dehumidification systems off.
Right.
You might leave a ventilation system open.
Exactly.
And so each one of those are independent.
Sure.
They're operating independently.
That's right.
Good.
Well, me and David have really enjoyed these units because they haven't given us any trouble. Probably on our third operating year.
Yeah.
And they just seem to sit out there and run. They don't give us any problem. They're totally accessible from outside the building. We don't interrupt the classroom setting, changing filters or whatever. And I just like it all the way around. I really do.
Well, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I wish I could get you to tell the folks in Raleigh that who say these things, are noisy and expensive to operate.
They're not noisy outside of the building, much less inside.
Well, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. We've enjoyed you coming by. Thank you very much.
You. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dave. Here with Terry Jordan, who's the principal of Greenridge Elementary School. And my name's Phil Garrett. We had met before. I don't know
Good to
if
see
you
you
recall
again.
or not.
I do. It's been some time.
But what you don't know is what a lesson that you gave me before, and I'm really serious about that. And maybe to help your memory, we were back in the room with Bill Mingen, and you come walking in there and you said, "What are you guys doing? Having fun?" Because I can tell you got a real fun place here. And I said, "We're talking about air conditioning, and that's got to be pretty boring for you." And you said, "No, it isn't. Real serious." And I went, "Oh, goodness gracious, something's wrong." That's how I would probably think. And we went into talking about air conditioning a little bit. And what I found out from that, you've actually had more than this one school. If I remember correctly, you've had a couple of other schools, and you've had, what's boring, but you've had 4-pipe systems or 2-pipe systems where you had a boiler and a chiller. And that's what you gave me a lesson about, was the difference as an administrator, the principal, between a system similar to this and then that system, which is the one that the engineers and the architects sure love to share with everybody. Oh, now, do you remember what you said to me, or more importantly, how do you see the difference between this type of system and those kind of systems as a principal?
Well, I think we have had less problems. I know we're a new school. We've only been open since 2008. But I feel like the systems that we have now are more efficient. We don't have the problems like we did with the boiler, the old-fashioned ways, and the humidity in the rooms. I don't notice bad humidity at all. I think the comfort of the room for the children and the students. I think the teachers like, with the system that we have now, I think the teachers like that a little bit of flexibility to adjust their rooms a couple of degrees. They feel like they're not in total control, but they have a little bit of control. But I've been very pleased with our system here even in the hottest days. Our classrooms have been very comfortable.
Good. Does the sound of it bother anybody? Or?
No, I feel like they're very quiet. We don't have the noise. they don't appear to ever complain about them in the classroom. But I've been extremely pleased with the system. Like I said, we haven't had. I know they're new, but we haven't had any of the any problems. And I like the efficiency of them. I like the. I'm sure they're more economical for our school system. They have, as long as they're not complaining to me about the budget on the budget level, that I'm staying within my means, and evidently I am, or our school is. We've been very pleased with that as well.
Are happy teachers important,
Absolutely.
as a principal?
Absolutely. You have to keep your teachers happy, and you want to keep the same teachers in your school each year, and being comfortable, and having all the supplies and materials and necessary for them to teach these children. You want children to feel comfortable. Part of their learning environment talks about lighting. It talks about the condition of the room, whether it's warm or cool, too cool. I don't want to go into a classroom and students be wearing coats in the winter. Or I don't want to come in there in the summer and they're perspiring from being too hot, and we don't see any of that here. These children seem to be very comfortable throughout the year. We're in the 21st century, and the days of talking about the boilers and the old-fashioned way, those years are long gone to me, I feel like. That's the old way. That's the way I came up, heating the old, coming in on the weekends and getting the school, cranking everything up and getting the school prepared for Monday. This new efficiency and the new systems that we have now are just so much better.
I think you had mentioned to me, it might have been at the time I was here, but you're actually in the school, you use it as part of the community sometime for adult education?
We do.
Where you might have 1, 2, or 3, 4 classrooms in operation off school hours?
And that makes it very nice too, because we don't have to heat the whole school or cool the whole school. We do have adult classes being taught 2 nights a week, and they're here until almost 8 o'clock. So we can just pinpoint the rooms that are being used and keep that comfort zone very nice for the public as well.
Would you be embarrassed if I hugged you when you said the old-fashioned units and talked about boilers and children?
Well, listen, I told you that's the way I came up, so I'm telling on myself too.
Well,